Raider464 about a month ago posted this phase trick where if you stand in the corner of a box on a ramp, you can build straight through your walls. I tried to think, where can this be optimally used in a game? What I concluded is that the setup takes too long and it's really not going to be able to be used hardly at all. However, while I was experimenting with this in creative, I stumbled upon another phase trick that is very useful and very similar to this. We're going to be going over that move in this video and a couple others. Before we hop into it though, please consider using code JivanTV in the Fortnite item shop, or at least make sure you're using somebody's code because it helps us out a ton. Without further ado, let's get into this video. First off, I just want to say, I don't know if I'm the first person to ever do this trick, but I've never seen anybody else do it. Let's check it out. So what I discovered is what you're seeing on screen right now. You can build straight through your wall if you stand in the perfect spot. All you need is a ramp in front of you and a wall to your right, and if you stand right here, you can see the builds go straight through. You can get a cone through as well, but the move we're going to be looking at just requires the wall. So let's talk about where this can be used. This situation pops up all the time where you're ramp pushing somebody, they're ramping this way, and you get a cone over top of them. This is the situation. You get them coned, you own this side wall, you can simply do this move and get them boxed without even exposing yourself. Now you may be thinking, you don't own that floor beneath them, so they can simply edit down low. Well, all you gotta do is double edit down, place a cone beneath them and the walls around, and boom, you have them full box for a nasty clip. Another way this move can be used is you can go over top and go to the other side and get a free shot from behind. This just opens up so many optimal situations for you to handle this situation that's usually awkward. And here's one more. Let's say you do the entire setup, they could easily just flip the ramp and go out the other side, but you can be right there and just pre-box it and they'll walk into your trap. Easy claps. So I just told you every single way you can counter everything they possibly do if you get in this situation. But Jivan, this is only one situation, where else can it be used, you may be wondering. One other situation where this may be useful is if you're in a build fight. Let's say you're free building a round and then all of a sudden you find yourself on a ramp with a wall next to you to your right. Anytime that situation pops up, you're on a ramp, wall to your right, you can always do this trick. So there's a lot of opportunities to do it, it's just about getting the reflex down. And the way you get the reflex of this down is simply by hopping into creative and just practicing the positioning of this. Just like I'm doing on screen here. Just do it repeatedly until you can get it first try every time, and then boom, it's just about transferring that skill over to Arena. So let's check out some in-game examples and then we'll get into some other moves. So this was my first time ever actually doing the phase trick in Arena. I didn't close the fight until later, but I did it. I just want to show you the evolution of how I got this down. As you can see, I ran out of mats and I ended up just psychoing in, but we won the fight. The next time I was able to successfully do this trick was a lot better. You can see the situation perfectly here. I get the cone over the opponent, I get that side wall, and then I do the trick. That's literally all it is. It's pretty easy once you know where to position yourself when doing it. In this clip I choked because I was so excited that I did it, but I still got the kill. I was trying to get that floor underneath him so he couldn't have double edited down, but dude wasn't even looking for that. But literally the next fight, seconds later, we did it again. I know this is last season, I'm sorry, it is what it is. Boom, we got the setup, the execution, and the kill. So I don't have any kills of me doing the pre-box below or pre-box out the back. All of these people just were so flabbergasted by the fact that I did this. They were straight flabbered that they just didn't even know how to handle the situation. But I'm gonna try to get some clips where I get the pre-box techniques as well. Here's one last clip of this technique. This is from the new season, but it was pubs because Arena wasn't filling lobbies for some reason. Anyways guys, hopefully you like that new trick. Definitely tweet at me if you guys nail this trick in Arena or something. Let's move on to some other techniques. So next trick I want to talk about is a pre-box technique. This could potentially be a way to end fights literally in a second, especially during a cash cup when everybody's boxed up around the map. So the idea is you push up the side here and you're spraying at their wall while you approach. Right as the wall breaks, you slip a ramp in their box. And then a lot of times they'll go out one of the sides, so you can cone off every direction or just pre-box out the back, whichever way you predict them to go. This could be a sneaky way to end a fight immediately, literally as soon as you push up to their box. Here's a quick in-game example that's kind of similar to it. You can see that this opponent has his front wall open, so I slip a ramp in there, and then he goes out the left and I pre-box that side, easy kill. It all starts with getting a ramp in their box just like here. Once you get that ramp in, a lot of times they'll immediately branch out, so if you can get to an angle where you can pre-box one of the sides fast, you can oftentimes end the fight immediately. And similar along those lines, you guys have seen me post about this phase trick all the time for the past like 2 seasons, but I've made a new revelation with it. First off, if you guys still don't know this trick, the way you do it is you crouch up and down while pressed against their wall and placing a ramp in their box. You have to look slightly down and to the left to do this. I recommend hopping into creative and just practicing it until you can get it. Anyways, let me tell you what I figured out about this. What I've noticed is anytime I'm in a build fight and I do this trick while they're boxed up for a second, they always go down. Back in the day, I used to tell you, oh, pre-box out the left, pre-box out the right, but almost always when they're elevated, they're gonna go down a layer. This is super important to know because pre-boxing, or in other words, leading the enemy into your box, is all about predicting which way they're gonna go. So now you know that if you're in a build fight, they're almost always going to go down, so that should be the box that you pre-box. When pre-boxing, you always want to box the direction you think they're most likely to go. So by knowing this, anytime you're in a build fight and you do this trick, you should pre-box below because that's the most likely path they'll go. Whoa, dude, I got bars. On the other side though, if you're not in a build fight, you're on the ground level. Obviously you can't pre-box beneath them, so the better option is to figure out which side they're most likely to go out. And there's a few ways you can do this. I'm going to show a few examples on how I could figure out which way they were most likely to go. So here's the first example. As you can see, I don't do the phase trick to get the ramp in the box. I just pickaxe the wall and throw it in there. You can get a ramp in whatever way you want and it'll force them out of sight. So the prediction all starts here because there's builds underneath me and to the left. It's good to know. When I approach his box and get this ramp in, the only way he can branch out without being super congested is to the right. Seeing where the builds are around the opponent makes it pretty easy to figure out which way they're going to go. They'll always try to go to the open side with the least amount of builds so they can have breathing room. This next fight is a unique example. I don't get anything into his box necessarily to force him out of side. Instead, in this situation, I was just trying to predict his movement. So we were in a little build fight here and I got this damage dealt on him. Whenever you get damage dealt on somebody, they go on the run. They try to create distance so they can heal. So knowing that, I just took a shot in the dark and pre-boxed out the easiest side for me, just in case he would go out that direction. It's good to just create traps for the opponent even if you're not 100% sure they're going to go in that direction, because it gives you a chance to end the fight faster. Simple as that. Another way you can predict where somebody is going to go is simply based off how they're moving. If you see them moving in one direction in a fight, simply take that knowledge and create a box for them. You can see he literally charges out of this box in a straight line going to my right. I see him running across the ramp. All I have to do is create a box on the other side of that ramp and the fight is over. The more you pre-box people, the easier it gets to predict, but hopefully these tips will help you understand that it does take some prior knowledge. You got to know where the enemy is going, you got to know how to handle different situations, and eventually you'll get to the point where everything becomes a little bit more predictable. For example, this clip, how did I know he was going to go down? Because we were on an elevated layer. The most likely path for him to take was down. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video, maybe learned something new. If you did, be sure to hit that like button, subscribe if you're new, use code JivanTV in the Fortnite item shop, and I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace.